Now, while Paul was waiting for them at Athens, his spirit was provoked within him as he saw that the city was full of idols. So he reasoned in the synagogue with the Jews and the devout persons, and in the marketplace every day with those who happened to be there. This is the third week of proclaiming the gospel.
So the point is that Peter is saying, what is the kind of situation that you're going to run into which the gospel needs to be injected? And the answer is not that people are going to be seeking wisdom. There's no sign that is given anywhere in the scriptures that people are going to be the least bit interested or inclined to be seeking anything related to God. So when it is that we say, well, I didn't really have the opportunity to share the gospel, what we are saying is nobody seemed very interested. I didn't seem to have any conversations where it would have been appropriate or palatable or appreciated to share this good news. And Peter says, well, let me tell you what, you're never going to have a conversation like that. So if you are seeking that kind of a situation, a true earnest seeker, and this is what is so interesting about, of course, in the 1980s we began with what we call the seeker-sensitive movement, where we said we're going to be sensitive to those who are seeking God. And Peter said, I haven't seen any of those. He said, what I see is that more and more, the closer that you get to the return of Christ, you're going to find that no one is interested. And the sign of that is going to be that if you try to talk about these things, people will laugh at you. And people will say, well, I don't see Jesus returning. Now, you know what reverse engineering is? Reverse engineering is when you start with a final product and then you try to work backwards to building that. So if we reverse engineer the kind of gospel proclamation that Peter is trying to get us to have, it would be a gospel proclamation that would be centered on what? The return of Christ. In other words, if people laugh and scoff at us and say, hey, I don't see Jesus returning anytime soon, the reason why they would say that must be because we brought it up. The reason they are not saying this today is because we don't bring it up.
The times of ignorance God overlooked, but now he commands all people everywhere to repent, because he has fixed a day on which he will judge the world in righteousness by a man whom he has appointed, and of this he has given assurance to all by raising him from the dead. Now when they heard of the resurrection of the dead, some mocked, but others said, we will hear you again about this. If you would like more information on .W Evangelical Church, check out dotheword.org.
Hear the word, do the word. .W